friends. Okay, we are in Matthew chapter 15. We are going to start with verse 21, and this is titled as The Faith of the Gentile Woman. Then Jesus left Galilee and went north to the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Gentile woman who lived there came to him, pleading, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, Son of David, for my daughter is possessed by a demon that torments her severely." But Jesus gave her no reply, not even a word. Then his disciples urged him to send her away. "Tell her to go away," they said. "She's bothering us with all her begging." Then Jesus said to the woman, "I was sent only to help God's lost sheep, the people of Israel." But she came and worshipped him, pleading again, "Lord, help me." Jesus responded, "It isn't right to take food from the children and throw it to the dogs." She replied, "That's true, Lord, but even dogs are allowed to eat the scraps that fall beneath the master's table." "Dear woman," Jesus said to her, "your faith is great, and your request is granted." And her daughter was instantly healed. Those were kind of harsh words a little bit, wasn't they? Okay. Jesus heals many people. Jesus returned to the Sea of Galilee and climbed a hill and sat down. A vast crowd brought to him people who were lame, blind, crippled, those who couldn't speak, and many others. They laid them before Jesus, and he healed them all. The crowd was amazed. Those who hadn't been able to speak were talking, the crippled were made well, and the lame were walking. And the blind could see again, and they praised the God of Israel. Jesus feeds 4,000. He's already fed the 5,000. Now he's going to feed the 4,000. Then Jesus called his disciples and told them, "I feel sorry for these people. They have been here with me for 3 days, and they have nothing to eat. I don't want to send them away hungry, or they will faint along the way." The disciples replied, "Where would we get enough food here in the wilderness for such a huge crowd?" Jesus asked, "How much bread do you have?" They replied, 7 loaves and a few small fish." So Jesus told all the people to sit down on the ground. He took the 7 loaves and the fish, thanked God for them, and broke them into pieces. He gave them to the disciples, who distributed the food to the crowd. They all ate as much as they wanted. Afterward, the disciples picked up 7 large baskets of leftover food. There were 4,000 men who were fed that day, in addition to all the women and children. Then Jesus sent the people home, and he got into a boat and crossed over to the region of Magadan. I don't know how to say that, but it looks like Magadan. Chapter 16. Leaders demand a miraculous sign. Okay. One day, the Pharisees and Sadducees came to test Jesus, demanding that he show them a miraculous sign from heaven to prove his authority. He replied, "You know the saying, red sky at night means fair weather tomorrow, red sky in the morning means foul weather all day. You know how to interpret the weather signs in the sky, but you don't know how to interpret the signs of the times. Only an evil, adulterous generation would demand a miraculous sign, but the only sign I will give them is the sign of the prophet Jonah." Then Jesus left them and went away, east of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Later, after they crossed to the other side of the lake, the disciples discovered they had forgotten to bring any bread. "Watch out," Jesus warned them. "Beware of the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees." At this, they began to argue with each other because they hadn't brought any bread. Jesus knew what they were saying, so he said, "You have so little faith. Why are you arguing with each other about having no bread? Don't you understand even yet? Don't you remember the 5,000 I fed with 5 loaves and the baskets of leftovers you picked up? Or the 4,000 I fed with 7 loaves and the large baskets of leftovers you picked up? Why can't you understand that I am not talking about bread? So again, I say, beware of the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees." Then at last they understood that he wasn't speaking about the yeast and the bread, but about the deceptive teaching of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Peter's declaration about Jesus. When Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" "Well," they replied, "some say John the Baptist, some say Elijah, and others say Jeremiah or one of the other prophets." But then he asked them, "But who do you say I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Jesus replied, "You are blessed, Simon, son of John, because my Father in heaven has revealed this to you. You did not learn this from any human being. Now I say to you that you are Peter, which means rock, and upon this rock I will build my church, and all the powers of hell will not conquer it. And I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you forbid on earth will be forbidden in heaven, and whatever you permit on earth will be permitted in heaven." Then he sternly warned his disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. Jesus predicts his death. From then on, Jesus began to tell his disciples plainly that it was necessary for him to go to Jerusalem, and that he would suffer many terrible things at the hands of the elders, the leading priests, and the teachers of religious law. He would be killed, but on the third day, guess what? He will rise again. He'll be raised from the dead. But Peter took him aside and began to reprimand him for saying such things. "Heaven forbid, Lord," he said, "that this will ever happen to you." Jesus turned to Peter and said, "Get away from me, Satan. You are a dangerous trap to me. You are seeing things merely from a human point of view and not from God's." Then Jesus said to his disciples, "If any of you wants to be my follower, you must give up on your own way. Take up your cross and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world but lose your own soul?" That makes me think about celebrities. A lot of time you hear people have sold their soul or whatever. You know, they've got all this fame and fortune on the earth, but at what cost? I don't know. I think you can really do those things. I don't know. Okay. "For the Son of Man will come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and will judge all people according to their deeds. And I will tell you the truth, some standing here right now will not die before they see the Son of Man in his kingdom." All right, that was Jensen peeking in on me. All right, I've got a couple little things that I want to go back and read. So for Matthew 15:19, oh, that would have been about yesterday. All right, so let's read abuse. Matthew 15:30 through 31. Those say, "A vast crowd brought to him people who were lame, blind, crippled, and those who couldn't speak, and many others. They laid them before Jesus, and he healed them all. The crowds were amazed. Those who hadn't been able to speak were talking, the crippled were made well, the lame were walking, and the blind could see again, and they praised the God of Israel." So Jesus healed physical handicaps, but he also healed broken lives. Damaged emotions, shredded self-worth, deep scars from physical and sexual abuse, the pain of loneliness and rejection, all of these things can be healed through Jesus' transformative power. When we give ourselves over to him, he makes us new on the inside, washing us clean of his mercy, with his mercy and forgiveness. There still may be scars in this life, but when we join him in eternity, even those scars will disappear forever. What a glorious time that will be when we get into heaven, and all of our pains and sadness and all of our scars and these terrible memories of things that's happened to us on this earth, they're going to be gone. Just go. That's going to be a beautiful, beautiful time. Okay, guys, that's all of my time for tonight. I love you. Bye.